Let's get it.
Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your girl T Hardaway,
Miss Michael Bashil.
and we are the Did It for the Hood podcast.
Indeed.
We have another wonderful and distinguished guest on the podcast today. This is my guy, Gary Poole. I've known Gary for a little while now. When I met Gary, Gary was a teacher, but he's gone on to great heights to start his own business, set himself free, and he's become a product manager. Y'all give it up for my guy, Gary Poole.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us today, Gary. So we're gonna start it like we always do. Tell us your story.
Well, real quick, if I can start every morning like that, like maybe I need that sound bite. I
Oh.
wake up in the morning.
Like Rocky.
That's right.
We got you, baby. We'll send you a
I'd be
clip.
good. All right. My story, man, what is so much to the story, and I want to give you a detailed but not lengthy version of it. So I'll go high level, and then you tell me where you want me to dive in deep.
Gotcha.
So, um, I always wanted to be a basketball player. I loved basketball. Um, for my age, like I was exceptionally talented, but as I started to grow older, I got caught up with like friends and I really lost the attention. And it came to find out like I really didn't like basketball like I thought I liked basketball until I hit college and I saw what they had to do. So now I'm in college and with no directive, if anybody asked me before college what I wanted to do, I wanted to go to the NBA. That's all I knew. That's all I could think about. So now I'm in college spending all this money or spending other people's money that I'm gonna have to pay back to figure out what it is that I want to do. So I changed my major about 2 or 3 times. I think I started in like accounting. Then I went to wanting to be a doctor. And then I came back to business and I finished in that. But my senior year in college, I volunteered coached a basketball team. I don't know why. I don't know what prompted me to do it, but it was a county league and I volunteered coach. And I fell in love with it. I was yelling at the kids, like, get on the line. Like I was getting paid and it was free. I'm like, I haven't experienced this type of joy in all my years of college. So there may be something here. So I graduated and that following year I became a substitute just to make sure that's what I wanted to do. Um, so I subbed half a year and then at like December mark, I picked up a long-term subbing gig at this middle school. I said, this is it. Cool. So the following year, I said, okay, which subject am I going to teach? And I had struggled in math in college and I had went to tutoring, something I had never done in my life. I had went to tutoring and this dude broke it down to me in such a way. I'm like, you know what? I want that effect on the students that I teach. So I said, I'm going to teach math. Granted, I didn't go to school to be a teacher. Message, certification, I'm a teacher. Okay, dang. But I did have to have a 4-year degree, but I didn't have to major in teaching. We'll come back to that. So became a teacher, started off teaching math in middle school, taught at one school, or not one school. The first year I got let go actually because my pedagogy sucked or it was bad, sorry. And pedagogy is like, how do you relate to the students with the curriculum? My classroom management skills was off the charts, which is why I picked up the long-term subbing gig. I just had a thing with kids and I didn't really know what it was. But the first year as a teacher, I was let go because I was in the front of the class, like lecture style, like the kids would be falling asleep. And I'm like, y'all falling asleep on me? Like, I thought I was cool. So they let me go and a principal, I went to a job interview and she said, I see something in you. And it's funny, I just saw her a few months ago, and this is like 9 years ago. She said, I see something in you. I'm gonna take a chance. So I'm like, cool. Started teaching with her, taught about 4 years under her when math started to see like the politics in the school. I'm like, okay, I'm getting familiar. I'm not a new kid on the block anymore. And then I went into high school. In high school, I taught engineering, 2 courses of engineering, a lot of stories there. That's where I met T. And then I taught 1 year in college, which was my goal. I wanted to teach in college. I thought I would be set. Like, I teach in college, I could retire, da, 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 da. But once I taught in college, I saw it was like the same. I was like, there's got to be more. And then that's the year in high school when I taught, I made this site, whatever, and I was exposed to someone at Facebook. He reached out to me. He said, have you ever heard of a job called a product manager? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is education. Like, I know a teacher, I know a curriculum coach. I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, what you've told me, you sound like a product manager. This is 2018, 2019. He's like, I'm gonna send you some information, read it, come back to me. I said, cool. I started to read it, look into it. I'm like, okay, I do this as a teacher. Which is another message. There's a lot of teachers that have the skills that they would get paid quadruple if they switched industries.
It translates. Yes, the skills translate.
Yeah. You just have to be able to tell your story in
Wow.
such a way that they understand. But boom, that started a journey. A lot of heartbreak, a lot of letdowns, job interviews. I mean, depression, like, and just recently I got hired in July, working with a big company on a product that I used in the classroom.
Wow. Full circle.
Full circle. So I'm always gonna work with youth, but I felt like my journey was like, interact with youth. Okay, now you can't really help them like you want to help them. Go get your thing and then come back from a place of abundance. Because I was helping from a place of lack. And I took that out on students. And it was like, I'm trying to get y'all to get it, but I didn't really have it, to be honest. So I'm like, I'm one of y'all. And I always would tell my students in the beginning of the year, I'm like, I'm not a teacher. It happened every year. I'm not a teacher. They were like, why are you here then?
I'm just here to guide you.
No, I would, the second 9 weeks, like, stop treating me like a teacher. I'm not a teacher. It would be friction. It always happened every year. I could plan it. First and second 9 weeks is friction. About the third 9 weeks,
they got it.
They like, you're not a teacher. I'm like,
duh.
Oh.
Been telling you that.
I'm trying to get you the game. And you talking about, when is homework due?
Homework.
What?
That's the least of my worries.
You're not grading my assignments.
Focus, guy. Focus. I'm trying to get you the game.
I'm trying to get you the game. If you listen to the game, you're going to pass. The fourth 9 weeks is when they started asking questions. And I hated that it took that long always, but it's what it is, right? That's the world. So yeah, that was the full circle moment. If there's anything in that story you want me to expand on.
Yeah.
Man, you dropped a lot of different little pieces. So you said you explained how you got through your teaching. So from the college space, how did you transition into product management? Like, how did that happen? Because I know you moved, and what was that whole little time like?
From when I was teaching in college or when I was in college?
No, when you were teaching in college.
Yeah. So when I was teaching in college was at the beginning of the pandemic. So we're virtual, which afforded me time to because in the classroom it's tough to like do your own thing. You got to work and then go home and then grind when you home. But teaching virtually, I was allowed time to like learn the skills, what it meant to be a product manager, talk with people. Like, And I love this because I think this interview is going to be like this. I think you're going to start asking like broad questions. And then the more you know, you're going to get more specific. And I want that because I don't want to be like Sway, like I have the answers, but
I love you.
I went through a lot.
I
went through a lot, and I just want to share that with you. And normally I charge people to tell you what you're asking me. You know what I'm saying? So I want to leave this interview empty, really. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
So that transition was, again, me doing a lot of YouTube on what it means to be a product manager. LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn crazy. I can tell you how to leverage LinkedIn. LinkedIn became my Instagram. LinkedIn became because it's a professional place where you can connect. I was connecting with CEOs of companies, so their employees weren't even talking to them, and I'm talking to them, asking them for advice about what it means. And I'm just like a sponge the whole time. And I'm taking what I'm learning and apply it to the next interview, get shot down. Take what I learned, apply it to the next interview, get shot down. And that was pretty much the transition until, I found the right spot. And even at the company that I'm at now, my subject matter expertise helped me to get the job. Because once I told them I used the product in the classroom, they're like, "Oh, okay, so you already know it." I'll give you I consider a gem right now. It's not about who can do the job the best. It's who they can see themselves working with. I'll leave that right there.
No, that's a bar. That is a bar.
That right there. So everybody know how to do at that level. Everybody knows how to do project management. Everybody knows how to code. Come on. But it's who can they see themselves working with? Who, when they leave the job interview, they feel good. There you go. They like, "Ooh, okay." So that means that can be your vibe during the job interview. That can be an amazing story that you had to showcase who you are. But if you go into a job interview, maybe except for like Amazon don't care. They want machines. But if you go into a job interview, I can do this, A, B. They're like, "All right, cool.
Right.
I know you can do the job."
Good
But so hard. We're in the final round, so does the 20
everybody
other people.
Else.
And one thing you mentioned was just the constant no's and the depression. So my friend, what were the things that you did that kind of got you up out of that space? What helped you do that space?
How'd you make it through?
Yeah. I love that question because before this interview even like started between us, I had in my mind, I wanted to share this and I didn't know how I would share it. But this may come from left field, but it's not. Have people around you. This is like the most important thing I'm going to share in this interview. Have people around you that don't need anything from you.
Straight up. That's a bar.
Have people that, because we're all energy, we're all a spirit. Have people, when you leave their presence, you feel higher.
Not depleted.
You have to curate your circle. You have to. You're gonna go crazy if you don't. I mean, this ain't nothing to play with. I'm telling you from experience.
That's right.
Have people, if you gotta search them out, have people that build you, who don't need anything from you, who just want to help you. Search those people out and curate. So those people that aren't doing, I don't care how long y'all been friends. I don't mean you gotta stop being friends with them. Maybe shorten the communication. Because every time I was down, I had someone that I can call, someone I can talk to, who I respected. And that's a big way how I got through. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Amen. I received that for myself.
You got to, man. You got to. And you know, I teach yoga as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people a lot of people want other people to do things for them. And I
Yeah.
don't know what that came from. Maybe as a child, certain
Mm-hmm.
people get it quicker than others. You see people who don't really have their parents in their life be more independent
Mm-hmm.
than people who have their parents in their lives because they get it at an earlier age that like there's really no safety net.
Mm-mm. And nobody's gonna do it for you.
Okay.
You can fall. This is like a real thing that I had to go through. You can fall and fall and
And
fall
fall.
and
Mm-hmm.
fall and fall. Some people choose to be homeless, but there's homeless people that just fell and fell, and people drive by them every day. Don't think
Mm.
twice. And that's a real thing. But when you understand it, I think you get empowerment. So what I'm trying to say is that we all hold the key. It's just I think we're scared of ourselves
Ooh. Why do you think we scared of ourselves?
because we don't know who we are.
Mm.
We know who they told us to be.
Yeah, for sure. We don't know who we are. We don't know. We don't know. We don't even use our imagination no more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I
We
think
got
we
we see what's in front and that's our reality, not understanding that inventions come from a thought. Like we're like we used to talk about this. We're so in survival mode.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in survival mode, there's no time to grow.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm. You just
It's
going
just
from one moment to the next.
how do I make it to the next moment?
Mm-hmm.
How do I make it to the next moment? And so like even when I was a teacher, I try to give shortcuts because I said we're like as a people, we're so far behind
Mm-hmm.
to even like catch up, to even give you the space to think. Here's a shortcut. Take it, hurry up, take it. It's not going to be what you want to do for the rest of your life. I know, trust me. I thought I wanted to be a professor. It's not what I wanted to do forever.
Mm.
I thought I wanted to be a doctor. It's not what I wanted to do forever. But start somewhere so you can start your story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This life is a game. This life is a true game.
Yes.
I, I don't want to drop his name because, but he was doing amazing work in the community. But this particular person I'm talking about didn't blow up until he started to play a character.
He didn't blow up until he started to play a character. Elaborate on that.
Yeah.
You ain't got to tell about who the
For
person is,
sure.
but like
For
give
sure. But I mean, okay.
like was it WWE type
No, he just
putting
he
on that
just he
face?
just
I just
he just
yeah.
played a character. I'm in this meditative course, and the guy said at the height, at the culmination of you coming to yourself, it's like you could play a joker, you can play a character because you don't identify with any of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you just know you're doing it for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us think whoever I am in front of the camera on Instagram, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you get depressed. But if I go on Instagram and be like,
Right. This is me. What up?
Yeah.
they don't even got to know it's my character. It's like,
It's whoever I decide to be that day.
right. And I don't care what you think about this picture, like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because I know if we have a conversation, what it is.
Mm.
I know me, so I can do this. Like,
Mm.
what you gonna do? He's not acceptable. Don't bring. All right.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So we're addicted to characters. I mean, rappers, that's characters. We're addicted to characters.
Mm.
Movies, we're addicted to characters. And what we fall short of is we want to be genuine. That's our shortcoming.
Let's
That's our
keep it
shortcoming.
real.
I'm not saying you don't keep it real, but I'm saying it's a character. You can get your message across through a character.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Because if you,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, if you come wanting to hand out turkeys and stuff, it's like, oh, good job. But you really gotta be a soundbite. So make your thing sound bites. I hope I say something crazy enough to where you can post a reel.
Just the
People come
sound bite.
to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
All right, here go one. School. Oh yeah. No, I'm trying to force it.
Oh my God.
Nah, cause like I'm even afraid to say some things, right? Because I'm like, I ain't there yet.
Right.
Because I'm still wanting to be
pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distinct. Right.
Yeah. But you're
but
still trying to find your freedom. Well, you finding your freedom.
Yeah.
I'm getting to a point like a person that's in the news right now, like you don't care. You just don't care. That's how you really got to be, because there's people that would take advantage of you that don't care.
Yep.
There's people that would use you that don't care. So you caring what they think is madness. You caring what they think is madness. You do your part in this world. You do it for the reason you know. And a lot of the times you got to play a character to get that. And it's not bad. It's just the way of the world. This is the world we live in. This is just the world we live in. And when I say play a character, I'm not saying be fake. I'm saying you're so free that you don't mind.
Okay, Gary, you didn't drop too many jewels, so I got to pull this interview back on the rails now.
Yeah, for sure.
So how were you? Okay, so I want to know, how were you introduced to get into your industry? Because you transitioned out, you were teaching in college, but you didn't tell us how you actually got into. What happened for you to get there?
Okay, so I started teaching in high school. I was there for only 2 years, but as soon as I got there, the principal said, "We got this engineering program. We don't know what it's about, whatever." But the last guy who ran it, because it was a year old, the guy who started it, his visa ran out. So we don't know what to do because he knew all the information. So this was a curriculum that you had to get certified in to teach. So they flew me to these like classes. Well, like one was in Cali and the other was in somewhere, but I would be there for 2 weeks at a time because I taught 2 classes of engineering.
This was for the high school?
It was like all high school. I didn't tell you this, I don't think.
No.
So the class I taught, you can't just teach. You got to get certified. So I would go to this 2-week training, but it ain't like, it's hard.
Right.
Like the 2 weeks you working, because you got to learn a year's curriculum in 2 weeks in order to be able to teach it.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, at night I find time. Yeah, I'd find time at night to dip out, but
got you. Okay. All right. Yeah.
What's that?
No, go on.
No, what was the question?
Oh, no question.
Okay.
I was just commenting. Yeah, you good.
Yeah. So it would be an intense 2-week training. And when I would come back, was able to teach the classes. So one of the classes was aerospace engineering, and the other class was design thinking. Design thinking. Table that so I can stay on topic.
Okay.
So boom, came back, started an engineering club. The school I taught at was like a historically African American high school. I only taught at Title I schools because there was like a connection I had with the students. Again, going back, it was something about students that were in survival mode that reality was more real to them. And I love that. So I only taught at Title I schools. Because if I taught at any other, it was like, I don't know,
it didn't connect.
They were worried about the wrong things. Or no, I can't even say that. They didn't get perfect. It didn't connect. They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
They got the school part. They didn't get the real life application piece.
They didn't get it. They didn't have to think about where food was coming from. They didn't have to think about money. They thought money was in their parents' pockets. They thought food came from Publix. It's like,
right.
No ideal. So anyways, I started this engineering club man, it was so beautiful. These kids who, were kind of like indoctrinated to hate, or not hate, to be fearful of these topics. I'm telling you, when I was to tell the kids, I teach engineering. Oh, I can't do that.
Wow.
Before they even see what it is.
Exactly.
And like, man, that's so like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I had an experience like that similar this week. I'm just pause you
How
1
you
second. I'm gonna pause you 1 second,
Yeah,
Gary.
go ahead.
I had it was a person who was very high up in a very well-known company. I ain't gonna use their name, but they were a former CEO of a company, and they were had a background in tech. And the man was basically just like, hey, y'all know y'all can do tech, make a lot of money pretty easy. It just sounds really daunting, but it's really not that bad, right? Once we get done talking to the guy, I'm talking to the rest of the students. I'm like, hey, what y'all think about what he said? First thing he was like, I don't like tech. I was like, what? Now this man has got money, and he's sitting there just like, yes, this is pretty easy. And they're just like, I don't like tech. So, but go ahead. I was just wanted to add that.
I relate that to like basketball, like in sports. It's harder to be a professional athlete than it is to work in tech.
150%, 150 million%.
So why do they want to do it though?
It's cool.
Let's get to the real. Let's get to the real, right?
Because it's cool.
We're addicted to characters. Like they want that lifestyle.
But they can have the lifestyle, but it doesn't come with fame. There's no fame attached. But I think Chris Rock told a joke about living in his neighborhood, and he said, I have to be exceptional to live in this neighborhood, but like my neighbor is a dentist. And my other neighbor's like a doctor, and my other neighbor's a lawyer, but I'm like a world famous comedian, but we all live in the same neighborhood.
I hope y'all pick up like what I'm laying down. Like you talked about fame. This character thing, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's all it's for.
If y'all want to hit more people, put on a character. Say maybe outlandish things, but don't lose the message. But watch what happens. But as long as we try to be
real and serious,
the kid's gonna be like, man.
Yeah, I ain't going for that.
What Blueface? What Blueface?
Yeah. Where though? Where young boy at? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
And that's what I realized. I realized like I didn't really want to be an NBA player. I wanted that lifestyle. I wanted that lifestyle. But so going back to the engineering club, I just loved, it was like really grassroots. I printed flyers. The students that were in my class, we would go out like after school and pass out the flyers to the students. It was like, I'm telling you, this is me now. And like, I'm the one in school that take 3 basketball classes in high school. Like, what am I doing? I don't know, but this is like my purpose, I feel.
That's real.
Long story short, the engineering club is formed. We joined the National NSB, National Society of Black Engineers, right? So I'm like, and this, all of what I'm like doing is product management. It's pretty much strategy. So I'm like, okay, I don't really know that much about engineering other than this 2-week curriculum. I was like, how can I leverage someone to do this that they respect? Okay. UCF got NSB. Kids listen to like high school kids like college kids. So the college kids came to mentor the high school kids. So this partnership is like formed now. So there's a NSB Junior in Orlando, the first, because NSB starts in college. And then they have, it started in college, But you can have a NSBE junior chapter be a part of a church, after school program. It's, ages 3 through 12.
Wow.
Or grades 3 through 12. Sorry, grades 3 through 12. And we were the first ones in Orlando, Central Florida. NSBE has a conference in Detroit, Michigan. The kids are interacting with the college students throughout the year. The college students are telling them how dope NSBE is. The students are getting exposed. The kids now want to go to this national conference. This national conference costs money. Okay, how are we going to get this money? We tried the fundraisers. I'm like, man, it's fundraisers. I mean, like, we would go in front of Publix and, that wasn't really hitting it because we need like 15 G. And we was, catching maybe $100, and it just wasn't enough time from the time they wanted to go until the time of the conference.
Yeah. The
college students couldn't help us. They college students, like, and it was 10 students. So I'm like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Okay. And I just started like, okay, boom, boom. News. We got wind of the news. So the news got hold of us.
Wow.
And then we made the shade room.
Oh, it's up there.
I remember that.
Then we made the shade room. So I'm like, just bigger. And that's when Buddy from Facebook, to answer your question, how I got into tech, Buddy from Facebook found me on Instagram. And we were the people I called. He's one of those people I call when I needed it. Because he's telling me, gee, I see you making 400,000. I'm like,
that's the gospel right there.
Okay. He said, gee, he's like, the way you talking and what you told me, you could easily be making 400,000. And at that time, I was stupid enough to believe it.
Glad you was dumb.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm done. That's another thing, man, about our people. We feel like we got to have it all together. You don't.
You're stressing stay on task, because I know where you're going, but stay on task. I got you.
Okay, thank you.
I know where you're going.
No, go ahead. So yeah, that's how I found out about the role, was from this guy at Facebook who found me from an Instagram post. I did like a Black History Month. I was like the Shade Room Black History of the Month person. And we shot a video with the students. You remember when they were all like this and stuff? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was to go to the conference. So we got the money, students went, had a bomb experience there. A lot of the students was their first time even hopping on a plane. Mm-hmm. And then to go to a different state, it's just super rewarding to see that on their faces. Because once you're exposed, you can't unsee. Right. So now that hunger is like, okay, I just don't want to make it out the neighborhood. I want to make it out the state. So.
Yeah. Man, so one thing I want to circle back to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, of course, along this journey of becoming a product manager, you said that there was certain skills that was the same skills that you had when you were teaching. What skills were they?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Great question. So design thinking, man, y'all are some great interviewers.
We appreciate you.
Nah, for real.
Design thinking. So remember, I'm coming from teaching math, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I go to high school, and one of the courses I'm teaching, one of the engineering courses I'm teaching is design thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw design thinking and what it was about, I'm like, this is all I want to do. Mm-hmm. So design thinking in a nutshell is solving problems from a human perspective, from a user perspective. Every kid watching this, every person watching this, I would say learn design thinking. If you want to sell a product, if you want to do anything, learn design thinking, because it's all about strategy and how to approach the problem. A lot of people go straight to the solution without understanding the problem. Message.
Bar. Drop mic.
And in design thinking, it's because there's a quote that says a problem well defined is a problem half solved.
Yeah.
So if you know what the problem is, it's not as much guesswork.
Mm-hmm. Less hypothesis, more accuracy.
Bars. Look at the bars just coming together.
So in my role as a product manager, yeah, we do hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't even explained what a product manager does, but we can do that after this. Yes, there's a lot of hypothesis, but it's not just like I wake up and say, I want to try this.
Right.
I got so much data and evidence of why I want to try this. So even if it don't work, I learned something. And that's, if you look at any of these major companies, Facebook, Uber, DoorDash, if you see how they started,
right?
They started out their garage, a couple of college friends. The DoorDash people, they just built a simple website. I forgot how they got the people to call them, but the people would call them. They would go pick up the food and deliver it. All to just find out if this is something
they were testing it out. Yeah.
There you go.
Without spending a whole lot of money.
I got this hypothesis. Will it hit? And how many of us do that all the time? Like, man, I think this would work. And we don't actuate on it because we think, man, I got to do this. I got to have this. I got to do this. And by the time we do all that,
man, I ain't even going to do it, bro. It's so much work.
Okay.
You got these other people over there going, okay, let me tweak
that.
And it become fun.
To seeing if they can get it to work.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Seeing if they can get it to work.
It become a game.
Yeah.
It ain't life or death. It's like, I wonder if this works. I wonder if I can, it become a game. It's like, I wonder how little I can work to get the most bang. How many t-shirts can I sell with the simplest website? Because you spend all this money on this website, nobody come to the website, now you mad.
And you just have a simple home landing page that says t-shirts here, click here.
T-shirts here. Buy here.
Click.
It become a game. It become funny. And I know that by experience. I created all these designs on my shirts, hours now, stressing, like the logo, the font. The site go live, nobody come. I gotta tell people to go. But yeah.
So, Gary, what does a product manager actually do?
Okay. So a product manager in tech, a product manager manages a product, meaning you sell a product, right? You sell a product. Anything can be a product. This jacket could be a product.
Right.
It don't have to be a tech product.
Right.
I'm gonna start in that scenario. If I wanted to sell my jacket, if I'm a product manager of my jacket, going back to design thinking, what am I gonna do first?
If you want to sell a jacket as your product, what are you gonna do first?
Yeah, what am I gonna do first?
You gonna wear it?
Nah, you gotta get whatever the material is, put the design on it, see if anybody wants it.
I love it. See what you just did? Both of y'all just did it. You went straight to the solution already.
We didn't look at the problem. Okay, so what's the problem?
You don't have a jacket.
Huh?
I have a jacket yet. Do you have a jacket?
No. What's the problem?
You don't got a jacket yet. You don't got a jacket yet. But y'all building what are y'all building and who are you building for?
Oh wow. Yeah, who's our market and what are we actually? Okay.
About that time.
Y'all just gonna build a jacket and hope somebody want it?
And hope some.
So run us through it. What's the design thinking? Where should we have started?
But Michael is hilarious.
What did you say, T? Repeat that.
I said, what's the design thinking? Where should we have started?
Yeah.
You got to go out to the people. You got to go out to the people. If you have a particular market you want to serve, start asking them questions. There's problems all around us. You just got to look and ask. So if you want to develop a jacket, who are you developing jackets for? Kids, mothers, the elderly? Like, let's just go with mothers. Okay. What type of jackets are they currently using?
How could it be improved upon?
There you go. Why are they using those jackets? Someone told me it's not, let me not misphrase him. He said, sometimes it's not the industry. You can go into any industry and carve a lane. You just have to expose a need. So when they say the market is saturated, it may be for that particular reason.
But there may be another opening. Right. There's another opening, but you got to find it.
Yeah. Yo, I'm taking notes because this,
That's it. But all this is in the problem space. We need even the solution space is easy. I mean, we got a million solutions that we can hypothesize.
But we don't know if the solution is effective
for the problem because we haven't done time actually sifting through the problem.
I'm in the problem so long because you have a million ideas. I got a million ideas.
Yeah.
But a million ideas for what?
What's the problem? Gary, I'm happy that I invited you on here today, but I'm mad because now you're going to have me thinking all day. But that's not a bad thing.
No, but don't think too long. Don't think too long now. Remember.
Because someone will act before you do.
There's a happy medium now. You don't want to think too long and not move. Right. You want to think, hypothesize, test it, take it back to your learning. Okay, what did I learn? And the better you get at that, the more you become like these big companies who already know what you want. That's why they give it to you. Every update you see, it's something that's been asked for. So when they release it, they're not releasing in hopes. They release in knowing. Well, you can never get to a point of knowing, but you can get real close. And when you do, that's when you make the money.
Because I think about, say, Nike.
Nike.
You know what I'm saying? They dropped some new shoes. Everybody running to get the new shoes because we know Nike got the shoes. Or is that kind of the direction that you're kind of going in? Or
I love where you went with that. Yeah. So what you just surfaced was company life cycles. Nike is at a place, it don't matter what they release. People gonna buy it.
Right. So they're out of the whole thing we just discussed. That's not even a thing for them anymore.
They're out of Yeezys. They're out of, let me test. He's yay. You see his shoes?
And if all the stuff we're Nike.
That's where you want to get to, where your name talks.
So what you're talking about would not necessarily, but it's for startups, for the beginning phases.
Yeah. I'm talking about startups. I'm talking about people who don't have that brand loyalty. Because once you hit brand loyalty, that's what they call product. No, I'm lying. That's not product market fit. But when you hit product market fit, that's when you can start to scale. Man, I wish I had a board behind me. So in the beginning, you're trying to find the problem and you're testing solutions. Nobody's following you yet. There's no companies that's worrying about you. This is where a lot of startups fail.
Yeah.
because they either run out of resources like money to test. How much time we got?
Just keep going, bro. We good.
Okay. Can we table investing? Can you like write that down so I
we
don't
can circle
forget?
back. Yeah, I got you. We circle back.
So that's where a lot of companies fail because they haven't found product market fit. My product, the market. Gotcha. Once you find product market fit, even if you've not made any money, people will invest in you. Because a lot of like you gotta use money to make money.
Right.
So you see like a lot of these startups, they're looking for product market fit. And once they find product market fit, they scale it. Once you find a hypothesis that worked, you tested it, you can scale it. And that's how you become successful.
So Gary, let me ask this question. For this system, I'll call it a system of what you just explained. Could this also be used in artistic fields? Let's say if we were talking about music. Could this similar process also be used in that field as well?
Like a song? Like a song?
Yeah,
I'd say so. If you have an album of 12 songs, I mean, I think they do this. If you have an album of 12 songs, you put it out. Who did this? Give me a second. Who did this? I think that's how they find like a single, honestly. They put it out to people and they see which one they like the best, and that's the one that they promote.
I think that's the traditional way, but it's changed a lot now due to streaming.
Yes. I'm forgetting. There was an artist who did this. Matter of fact, Ye did this.
What'd he do?
You remember when he was having those
Sunday service?
Not Sunday services. You remember when he was having those pop-ups in like Atlanta and releasing like album release parties?
Oh, the Donda. Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of songs that didn't make the album.
Because he was testing to see what he tested to see what the crowd liked. Forgot about that because he kept going back like, yeah, I'm gonna push it back. I'm gonna push it back. I forgot all about that.
Too smart.
I forgot all about that.
Design thinking, ladies and gentlemen.
Because he's Ye. Right. But even he's like, I want a legacy.
Yeah.
So the crowd reacted to this. I'm sure he had a team like, look at what the crowd reacts to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And those are the ones that made the cut.
Heard that. So outside of design thinking and product management, who is Gary Poole? Who are you outside of work?
Man. I'm trying my best to go back to the original intent of a lot of things. So even myself, because like those children who were afraid of engineering, they were only afraid of engineering because they were taught that. Right. So I'm trying to go back myself to who am I before my upbringing. That's what I'm trying to go to. And that's a constant battle because you have these frameworks that you were given. You know, there was a quote that says, you show me a kid from 0 to 7, I'll show you the man. So Gary is someone that is intentionally trying to understand more of who he is. And the more he understands who he is, the more free I become. So I have a company called Imageless. When I was in college, well, for my whole life, like I was a person who stuttered, and I allowed that stuttering to become my image. So I was ashamed of myself, you know, not understanding that was like my superpower, because you're relatable the more relatable you are, the more influence you have.
Absolutely.
In this book I read, it says to boast in your shortcomings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can boast in the things that you're ashamed of, you're free.
Yeah.
And people will rock with you.
And they'll relate to you, because people don't relate with
to
your quote unquote greatness. They relate to your flaws.
I'm flawless.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this. I'm not good in this. But I wake up and I try.
And people relate.
That's it. Because everybody has something that they wish wasn't there until they figure out it's there for a reason.
Gary, man.
Talking that
talk. You talking that talk, my guy. You talking
Everybody
that talk.
has it. I'm telling you, listen, I've been around people that got it all. Got it all. You would think you would be jealous just because of our bodily, like just our human nature would cause us to be jealous. And then you get to know them and you see y'all just got it put together.
Mm-hmm. You're a person just like me.
You know what I'm saying?
Person just like me. What they say, never meet your heroes.
Yeah, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Never meet your
idols. So I don't know if we had talked about this. Did you mention what school you went to?
College? University of Central Florida took my money.
They got you too.
What type of audience watches this?
A variety, minorities, first generation. Yeah. Okay.
So I was one that had like sneaker boxes, like now I lit. Yeah, I was one of them. Shout out to my boy Paint Boy Gav with the hustler.
I was peeping the hat. I like it.
Hustling department.
Yeah, Paint Boy Gav. Paint Boy Gav. He's out of Orlando. Cold. He worked with Rod Wave. He worked with Chris Brown. He cold. But I was one like that. Now I live out of, like, if I could turn my camera around, I live out of a duffel bag. I just got back from Mexico and I had 3 outfits. And one was a suit because my friend got married. And I was there for 2 months. But can I talk about Mexico?
Go ahead.
Mexico changed. So I got this when I went over there. My body sends out like I call it like a radar thing. And when I send it out, it come back, and that's what I use to compare. I'm not saying that that's good. But when I sent it out there, you know what it came back? What? Slow down. Like, you're doing too much. I see kids playing with their family. It's just like, I see community.
Yeah.
I don't see too many nice cars, but everything's going back to the original intent. They're driving the car to get them from point A to point B.
Okay.
They have clothes to cover them up. Their clothes are functional. They don't necessarily got to match.
Will be clean.
And it's freedom. When I got back here to Atlanta, I sent it out, and you know what I received back?
Hustle.
You ain't doing it. You gotta get the bag. Get the bag. Yeah. Right. And you can't be creative in that state.
Too much pressure.
You always feel like you're behind.
And creativity comes from freedom.
Okay.
That's where creativity lives.
I mean, I don't know, but Mexico really pointed things out to like the original intent. Like, a car is a car. Because here in the A, it's like they look at you, and they look at your car. They look at you up and down. Then they say, "Hey, what's up?"
Right.
To see if you're worthy of being spoken to.
Yeah, the what do you do's are different. The what do you do in Mexico is like, what do you do for fun? The what do you do here is what do you do for work?
How you make money?
How what is the ROI on this conversation?
A friend of mine said it a long time ago. He said, people ask you what they do so they can determine how much respect to give you.
That's a sad.
It's a
My
sad
uncle.
truth.
My uncle tells me this. He says the biggest thing in life are relationships.
For sure.
And if your relationships are based off what you can get, that's a sad place, man. That's a sad place. But
so Gary,
yeah,
I'm just gonna push the conversation a little bit. So what's next for Gary Poole?
Getting back with the youth.
How so? Well, first you started on the Did It for the Hood podcast. Welcome back. What else are you gonna do?
I gotta find my character.
Oh Lord, not the character.
I gotta find
He's finding it already.
I gotta find which cape I'm gonna put on. I gotta find what outlandish thing I can say. But when you come to my other videos,
you get that knowledge, get them jewels. I just gotta reel you in. I just gotta reel you in.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel that.
I just want to say, like, maybe this is it. Kids don't need school. Maybe that can be your snapshot. Kids don't need school.
That's not real.
School gets in the way of learning.
That's
the system of school gets in the way of learning, I would say.
What is school? Like, school, that sounds like,
listen, I can go into that. Yeah. All day. I can get into it all day. It's a conditioning to it. That's all it is. It's just trying to condition the mind
get you
to
think a certain way.
Think this way, do this thing this way, versus I'm just being me.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how I learn. And that's just that.
Telling you. And that, so for me, I'm always like strategizing on the shortcut, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the shortcut is if you want to, I don't know, wrap it up on this. If the shortcut is helping people find themselves, I'm not saying you necessarily follow your passion because, but help people to find themselves. And if you find yourself, you will learn why you're here. And that's the shortcut because a lot of us are doing things we ain't got no business doing.
Somebody told us to do them or because they make money.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing I realized a long time ago. We chase the bag. We actually operate backwards. We chase the bag, but if we chase our purpose, it's going to produce the bag anyway.
That's it. Let me see.
Gary, tell everybody how they can find you, brother.
Man, even in that. Okay. Imageless.movement on Instagram. Imageless, IMAGELESS.MVMT. That's how you can find me the best way. If you want to learn about how to get into tech or anything like that. Because this interview ain't long enough.
It has to be, Gary. People don't like going past an hour, Gary.
No, I feel it. Joe Rogan and them be going past it.
Joe Rogan.
Hey, man.
Hey, listen,
no, I get it. But yeah,
with the design thinking.
Yeah, there are shortcuts. And I haven't shared them all, but there are shortcuts in this life of people who have done it before you. And also, to answer your question, Michael, as far as like who am I with the youth, I am a bridge between the old heads and the young people.
Same.
I'm a bridge.
Same.
I'm a bridge.
I feel it.
Same.
Because they listen to y'all, but y'all talking about that old knowledge. You ain't talking about this way. Y'all coming with that, hey. So yeah, that's what we all are. We a bridge.
Well, Gary, we definitely gonna bring you back for part 2 because you got so much knowledge and we couldn't fit it all into an hour. So it's gonna be a 2-hour special, but it's just not gonna be today because I'm sure he got stuff to do. But I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you so much for coming on.
For sure. Thank you all. Be great.
I'm T. Hardaway.
And I'm Michael Bashil.
And this is the Did It for the Hood podcast, baby. You can catch us next Tuesday again. See y'all.